After releasing my full movie breakdown for Zach Cregger's Weapons, there were still questions and plot points to address that many have been talking about since the film came out. From whether the ending of the film sets up a sequel, to why Gladys kidnapped the children, to the meaning of the floating gun, tree and symbols, to the use of the number 17. So in discussing all of these topics, I'm going to be answering some of the biggest questions from Weapons in the aim to help you guys discover things you missed. This analysis will contain spoilers, so if you do happen to be someone who hasn't seen the film yet, then I would recommend watching this video after you've seen it. Also, a lot of things I discuss continue from what I explained in my breakdown the other day, so I would definitely suggest checking out that video first, which will be linked in the description. Before I get into it though, if you want to see more on upcoming releases like Weapons, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into some of the biggest questions from Weapons explained. Starting with the ending section of Weapons, there will be many who come out of the film and see those final sequences, asking what did it mean and what's next. At the end of the film, Justine and Archer arrive at Alex's house where they are ambushed by a possessed Paul and James. While this happens, Alex is on the run from his parents after he steps over a salt line that protects their spell by Gladys. In a desperate moment, Justine uses Paul's gun to shoot both Paul and James, saving her and Archer. Meanwhile, Alex mimics a ritual he had seen Gladys perform, this time using a piece of her own hair. As he does so, Gladys's hold on the children breaks and they turn against her. The children break through the windows of the house and chase Gladys through town, eventually catching up to her and tearing her apart. With her death, the enchantment on Alex's parents is lifted, and Archer also reunites with his son. The ending scenes bring a sense of release as the kids exact their revenge on Gladys, but there's also a sense that with this ending, something isn't quite right. The voiceover of the girl who first guided us into the film reveals that some of the children remained silent for a long time afterwards, while others took time to find their voices again. It also suggested that Alex's parents were left changed, unable to heal from the control Gladys had over them. So it's clear that the trauma from this event will linger with both the children and the adults of the town for the rest of their lives. And not just due to the mental control and lives lost because of Gladys, but also because the children have to live with the violence they committed in securing their own safety. It's evident that the effects of Gladys's magic are long-lasting, which likely accounts for the deteriorated state of the victims. The children have a greater chance of making a full recovery, yet as we gaze into Archer's son's eyes in the final moments of the film, we can't help but question if Archer truly regained his son. With this ending, there was a brief discussion from the director on the potential of another film, and his comments were quite interesting. He said, "Definitely. I have another idea for something in this world that I'm kind of excited about. I'm not going to do it next, and I probably won't do it after my next movie, but I have one and I'd like to see it on the screen one day." Now, we already know that Zach Cregger has a Resident Evil movie coming out on September the 18th, 2026, so he's going to be busy with that for the time being. But it is intriguing to hear that he has a plan for a Weapons sequel of sorts, and he would like to make it sometime in the future. The way he talks about it kinda made me think of M. Night's Unbreakable trilogy, how long he took to make those films, and the potential to make a secret sequel of sorts to surprise viewers down the line. Of course, we won't know the exact approach of a sequel for quite a while, but it is interesting to think about. Maybe in a second film we'll get more info on Gladys, the witches of this world, and the real reason behind the children being taken. Speaking of those questions though, because they are very present ones in the first movie, I think we have to at least talk about them a bit, and specifically more about Gladys herself and why she possessed the children. Gladys is definitely some sort of witch, though we only get a few hints about her background. In an earlier version of the film, Cregger had planned to give us an entire chapter on Gladys, but ultimately decided to keep the main antagonist more enigmatic. It's likely that she's been around a lot longer than usual, and there's a sense come the conclusion that she's utilising her power to siphon life energy from the children to stay alive. Her mention in the film of consuming ties into this, and based on the mention of tuberculosis too, I think it's possible that she's been around since the late 1800s. In that era, tuberculosis was a prevalent and lethal illness. The breakthrough came in 1882 when Robert Koch identified the Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacterium, which greatly enhanced our comprehension of the disease. Despite this pivotal discovery, tuberculosis continued to pose a significant threat to public health, characterized by notably high mortality rates. So there's the potential that Gladys has been keeping herself alive and using other lives to do so. With the mention of there being a potential weapon sequel, maybe we'll see the director go back to this time period and make a secret film based on that origin. Moving on, it's also unclear if Gladys is truly Alex's aunt. While his parents seem to know her looking the way she does, it's not certain if she really is his aunt or if she might actually be a witch pretending to be her. That brings the question of whether his aunt was ill prior to Gladys possessing her. In her role as a witch, Gladys influences the residents of Maybrook, manifesting in the dreams of those who have never encountered her before, like with Justine and Archer, as well as in the secluded woods scene with James. Her pervasive hold over the town allows her to reach people during their moments of fear. While it makes things quite confusing, I think that was intentional, as Cregger wanted his villain to have a high level of mystery. It makes her presence all the more scary and keeps you thinking about her character long after the credits roll. Coming to the next question, one of the most talked about things in Cregger's film has to be the way the children run, why the director presented it the way he did visually, and what it could mean in terms of the film's themes. The arms out running by those under Gladys's influence isn't fully explained, yet it suggests that their freedom and essence is being drained away, with their arms trailing behind them. While no concrete reasoning is provided, this leaves room for more interpretation. However, the director did hint at a deeper visual symbolism behind this choice. Cregger mentioned that his inspiration came from his recollection of the iconic Napalm Girl image, which is one of the most significant photographs captured during the Vietnam War. In this powerful image, a young Vietnamese girl is seen running with her arms outstretched and her body severely burned by napalm. In an interview, the director said, "I think the image is so awful, and the way she's holding her arms out just killed me. I think there's something really upsetting about that posture." So if I had to guess, that might be where the seed came from. I don't know, but there was no second guessing that pose. I knew that they would run that way. There's also this theory going around suggesting that the portrayal of the kids being used as weapons might further serve as an allegory for school shootings within the film. It definitely resonates with the theme of violence, particularly incidents that involve children and trauma. It's also striking how the film starts with a scene set in a classroom where children are taken. Their running posture, which shows their minds and hearts dragged away, could very well be linked into that theme, and it's hard not to think about it, especially in a movie called Weapons. Many of the most captivating scenes in Weapons appear to originate from Cregger's imagination, lending the film a sense of self-reflection. So it opens up various avenues for interpretation due to the numerous unanswered questions it presents. Another one of those aspects is the floating gun scene, as the mysterious weapon that Archer sees hovers over Alex's house during a dream sequence. Archer dreams while lying in his absent son's bed, and the image of the gun reveals the precise time the children got up and went out at 2:17 AM. Numerous theories have emerged concerning the importance of the gun, particularly in relation to its link to the title and the symbolism tied to school shootings. Positioned right above Alex's home, the surviving child who faces bullying and amidst the overwhelming trauma that has enveloped the town, it's difficult to overlook those connections. But the director said a few things about its inclusion, and his reasons for including the visual seem as mysterious as the shot itself. He said, "It's a very important moment for me, and to be frank with you, I think what I love about it so much is that I don't understand it. I have a few different ideas of what it might be there for, but I don't have the right answer. I like the idea that everyone is probably going to have their own kind of interaction or their own relationship with that scene, whether they don't give a crap about it and it's boring, or whether they think it's some sort of political statement, or whether they think it's just cool. So whatever it is referencing, it's clear that it helps fuel the ongoing theories and main thematical notes of the film." Something to add to this is that the director had previously mentioned that he constructed the film based on the intense feelings you experience following the loss of someone you know. He said, "You just have all this emotion and it's better to just start writing characters that are feeling the emotions you are feeling. For me, it was a cathartic experience." So in reflecting on all of his comments, I think that Weapons ultimately explores how suppressed traumas can inflict pain on others and that the hurt we project can come back to us. And the visual of the floating gun and the children's running style adds to this, while also connecting to the thematic tragedy of modern school shootings. Moving on, there are also some other Easter eggs in the film to discuss, and this involves the repeated use of the number 17, Gladys's tree, and the triangle and number symbols. Starting with the use of the number 17, this could be relating to two different things. During another interview, Cregger mentioned that the 217 time reflects his subconscious connection to Room 217 from Stephen King's The Shining. Although Kubrick altered the number to 237 for his film, Cregger chose to stick with the original number. He said, "I'm a Kubrick guy when it comes to The Shining, I definitely worship that movie, and I thought of changing the number to 237. But then I was like, my first impulse has got to be the one I stick with, so I kept it at 217. There may be a more profound significance to consider as well, as some individuals have pointed out that the number 217 could symbolise the number of votes in favour of the House of Representatives ban on assault rifles back in 2022. However, that ban never came to fruition after failing to get through the Senate. So with the director's acknowledgement of his own reasoning behind the number, it seems like yet another enigma open to the viewer's interpretation. Coming to the final Easter eggs, both the tree and symbols in the film are quite straightforward. The tree plays a crucial role in Gladys's blood magic, utilising it as a tool for her rituals. By pricking her own finger on its branches, she allows her blood to seep onto them, which are either wrapped around or connected to a personal item belonging to her intended target. When she snaps the branch, she releases her bewitched victims to confront the target, as evidenced by the situation with Marcus's boyfriend and Alec's final use of it against Gladys herself. It's tough to identify the exact type of tree, but given its historical associations with witchcraft and its intended use, it seems likely to be some form of blackthorn. Perhaps we'll uncover more details in a possible sequel, and maybe only certain bloodlines can wield the power, explaining why Alex was able to use it at the end. If that is true, it would support the idea that Gladys is indeed Alex's true aunt. When it comes to the triangle and the number 6 on Gladys's bell, each highlights a unique facet of her identity. From a witchcraft viewpoint, the inverted triangle displayed on the bell is closely linked to the crone goddess, since triangles are typically regarded as symbols of femininity. The crone, often seen as a goddess or witch, signifies the closing chapter of life, reflecting wisdom, death, and the process of transformation. Typically portrayed as an elderly woman, she is connected to the waning moon as well as the seasons of autumn and winter. So in a way, this would link to the witch character of Gladys. And when thinking about the use of the number 6, this is clearly connected to witchcraft and evil. When viewed together, it becomes clear that the use of the tree and the symbol on the bell represent a witch employing various tools to carry out her dark intentions. The branches of the tree enable Gladys to manipulate individuals, while the bell serves as the means by which she instigates the possession. But that was my video discussing some of the questions that arose from Weapons. I'm sure there will be many other things that pop up on rewatch and other examples which you guys may have picked out, so don't forget to let me know down below in the comment section. For more videos on upcoming film releases like Weapons, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.